Yo, this your boy Tonio coming through another episode of Backyard Comedy. Always I got my boy, excuse me, baby. Please say that, baby.
Yeah, you already know.
Is that really duty I got right here beside me?
I'm right here beside you, bro.
And I'm your boy, Vocal 26. And on this episode, we brought back none other than Onyx Martin Sr. How you doing today?
Hey, man, good to be here.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here.
Oh, yeah.
Before we start on that, let's do a recap of the last episode. We had Greg Jackson, came from Charlotte, North Carolina. Activist in the community, doing big things with the community in Charlotte. A Christian rapper, Christian father. He broke it down. He Christian everything. Also
chef
a good, a sous chef.
Yeah.
So he will be back to do that. The black-owned business was Braised by Shay. Shout out to you, Cuzzo. If you hit her up, information right there. Boom, alone. Make sure you tap in with her, and we gonna start it off on the Backyard Inspiration. I knew it was the blood. Save me. That's how we gonna do it. And I'm gonna let you start off with that.
Which O? So
I'm not gonna call Pop. Oh no.
Man, today, man, we wanted to start off, man. We wanted to talk about and give encouraging words, man, on staying focused on your purpose. You know, we talked about last time finding your purpose. So this time we want to talk about how to stay encouraged and how to stay on the right path, even though things, you know, you have trials and tribulations and things that may come up.
Indeed.
So we can just jump right into it. You know what I mean?
So. Go ahead, Pop.
I'm listening to you, man.
I'll let you go ahead, Pop.
I'm enjoying this. See how y'all gonna help me out?
You said staying encouraged to stay focused. Being encouraged to stay focused.
Right.
In your purpose, yeah.
In your purpose. Okay.
Yeah, keeping that focus on the purpose and staying encouraged. Because a lot of times while you're navigating and going through the nuances that life brings, sometimes it can mess with your focus or the target you're trying to reach.
Indeed.
In walking in your purpose. So we have to understand that we got to stay focused. David used the term, and he says, "I was looked to the hills," and he was really talking about the thing that always would help him redirect his focus. He said, "I look into the hills from which cometh my help."
Come on now.
And then it says, "All my help comes from the Lord." So when you think about that, no matter who you are, or what you've done, and you know where you've been, you've got to have a center. You've got to have something you can focus on, because if you do not, whenever you get off track, you don't have anything to guide you back on track. So if your focus is always you and what you've done or yourself, instead of having some outside mechanism that you can use to cope with, you're going to find yourself getting off track and staying off track.
I done derailed. I done derailed now.
Yeah.
Let's be honest about this. You know, it's a lot of young cats, you know, young men our age and younger that you know I have talked to, and they don't feel like they have a purpose. They feel like the purpose is to do what they're doing, running the streets, you know, selling the drugs, chasing the women. They feel like that's the purpose. What do you say to young cats like that? 'Cause you done been there, done all this stuff that people saying that they going through. Like what would you tell these young cats to, far as trying to find their purpose?
I think one thing you got to understand, though, purpose will always lead you to a greater end. And if your focus is not on something that will lead you to a greater end, then you're walking in the wrong purpose and you got the wrong focus. And you know, being factual on that and being truthful, the thing is this: is that if you're out there, like you say, doing the drug game or whatever you're doing, there's no benefits in that are residual. Everything in that is going to be quick. It's going to be short term, and then it may end up with one or two places: incarceration or a place called the grave. You know, it's going to be one of those two, or somewhere in between. And nobody wants to do that. So you got to stay focused. You got to look at something. If you're walking in this lane and you want to stay focused and encouraged on, you got to make sure again you keep your eyes in the crosshairs and the target. So you can hit what you're aiming for. You may, like you say, get derailed. It may get off course a little bit, but when you know where the target is and how to aim it, you can get it back on course.
Indeed.
And that's the thing, man. With that, I mean, you know, that's why you got to learn how to shoot first. You know what I'm saying? So you know how to
ask
breathe
questions later
and get yourself back on target. You know what I'm saying? Even when your surroundings might knock you off target. And you know, I think that's a good analogy.
It is.
What
I was going to say that.
About. You know, so my thing is this though: how do you keep those surroundings? How do you keep that great surrounding that surrounding that'll keep you focused, that'll keep you staying.
That's a good question, and for me to to have experienced that, being around people who I thought was good for me, come to find out in the long run, having conversations with with Dooley or with Onyx and so forth. So with my dad, having those conversations, and my dad always told me, when you start doing the right thing, those people will fall off.
Yeah, that's
eventually. I'm thinking, we living the fast life, we doing this. My brother, I love you. My sister, this, whatever the case may be. But we doing all the wrong things. Yeah. And it felt so right, but it was so wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my take with it. Like I had to separate myself from that for me to be able to grow, because I never seen a balloon fly with a brick tied to it.
Especially without any helium in it.
Yeah. And so and the real thing on that too, anything that you do is going to have to be deliberate. You're going to have to intentionally get rid of that stuff that's not leading you in the right track. I said something this morning in the sermon. I said, if you're around somebody and you all are supposed to be friends, and they say they love you, and if they will not correct you truthfully and honestly for your betterment, then they don't love you.
I go by that full-heartedly.
That's funny, because we just talked about this not too long ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. If your friends don't correct you, and if they always saying yes, you'll never get better.
Yeah. And that correction has to be out of love. That correction can't be with alternative motives. Some people will correct you because they want to be on top, or they're trying to get what you got. They want to correct you to belittle you, so they can feel like they're somewhat superior. But the correction has to come in love, and so the correction has to come with the heart of a servant.
That's right.
With meekness. They got to correct you, knowing that correction may sever your relationship, but they know that the correction, if you listen to it, will make you a better person, and they're in it for you being better. And your being better is better than what your relationship is, if that's all it takes to
Come on here, Pastor.
That's right.
Talking now.
Yeah. So you got to understand that. So you got to be in this thing for the long haul. You got to have somebody that's long haul, that's going to be in for the long haul with you. You're going to find out that not many people are going to be able to travel with you through all the decades of life. And by the time you get to where I am, 6 decades, you'll be able to probably about count them on one hand who'll still be there, if any. And you'll meet some and lose some, and then meet them again, and then sometimes you're several again. But real friends, no matter when you see them or meet them, you never missed a beat, you never lost the love, and you never stop encouraging each other. If you can't find somebody to pour into you, then you don't have anything to pour into somebody else.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's a fact. And throughout the Bible, and of course that's my subject of interest, my book of choice. And throughout that book, you find where these people tend to. They tend to yoke up with. I think the Bible uses a term called yoke fellowship. They tend to yoke up with. They tend to befriend those people who, for the most part, are going to make them better. And even if they don't see it in the offset, in the long run, it's the fruit that shows that what they got involved with was for their betterment, for their welfare, was for them to become the best them. I think when we live in a society now, which I call a microwave society, and we want everything quick, fast, and hurry. We touch a button, we can talk to somebody way across the world, and so now we expect everything to come expediently. But that's not going to be in walking in purpose, because it's a journey. I think we talked about that last time. This is not a sprint, it's a journey, and you've got to be willing to pace yourself.
You got to have some good lungs.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Nothing was created overnight. Except for the earth when the Lord spoke it, and he spoke it became then, but he's the only one to have that kind of creative disposition, and our creative purposes and our creative ability only comes through our walking in what he has purposed us to do. So sometimes ours have to simmer, because we have to understand that our purpose has to include his will and his wisdom.
Amen.
We were talking about teachers today, and James talks about not many of you should become teachers. And the reason why he said that is because teachers are required to pay more. And teachers will be challenged from 2 angles. You're going to be challenged from the angle of the people, those who you are teaching, and then you're going to be challenged from God, the one who gave you the ability to teach. And both of those are going to put demands on you that if you have not been called and anointed to do do this, it will take you out of what you're supposed to be doing because you'll focus on what you can't do instead of what you can do. You'll focus on what you don't have instead of what you do have. And you'll focus on where you've been instead of where you need to go.
Hey, come on.
And, to walk in purpose, you got to always think about where you're headed. You always got to redirect everything to where you're headed, and you got to understand that if it was easy, come on, let's be real about this. If it was easy, everybody'd be doing
Indeed.
it. Everybody would be
Indeed.
successful.
Indeed.
But because it is a challenge, because sometimes you do feel like quitting. You probably feel like quitting more than you do like going forward. But the thing is, when you press and you keep going, you'll find out that listen to it, that intentional going forward, that mindset that I'm going to press my way, and that tenacity to want to be better will outweigh all that stuff, especially when you reach a milestone of success.
Press down and shake it
together.
together.
And that's crazy. As I was reading something today, and it was going with Proverbs, and it basically said that people who thirst after wisdom, is after God's own heart, but the people who don't want the wisdom, or who don't look to learn, then they're stupid.
Yeah,
that's real.
So I took that as if I'm walking in wisdom and trying to learn about my purpose and my craft every day, then I'm doing the right thing. Then I'm doing what's in God's will.
it's all about growing.
Yeah.
My granddaddy always said, y'all know my granddaddy, anything that don't grow, his word.
Hey,
won't
don't
grow.
say
I know what he said.
Don't say
That's what he always said. He always told us that.
At least you cut it off a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he always told us that.
That's real, though.
And it makes sense to me now that I'm older, and it was in more ways than one. He used to always say, "You're a mighty poor rat if you got one hole to crawl in." And it makes sense now.
Yeah,
now we don't have time to stand still. Like we have to grow. We have kids. We have family. We always have to grow. Like Pops was just saying, like stuff is always changing day by day. Technology is changing. Back in their day, they had the cuts with the strings on. Now, so now, can you hear me now? So now we can just, like you said, send something clean across the world in 1 second. Versus what our kids and how we were taught, and so forth, so on.
True indeed.
And that's one thing I noticed with purpose. Sometimes people get in your way. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of my stumbling blocks, and you have to cut them off quick, fast, in a hurry. You know what I'm saying?
And you can't be scared to cut them off, though.
That's real. That's real. That's real.
Actually letting the person.
But let me tell you what's worse than people getting in the way. You getting in your own
Come
way.
on.
There you go. There you go.
That's worse than people.
True indeed.
Because we tend to get in our own way, trying to fulfill what somebody else has defined us to be, trying to make somebody else happy, and trying to meet someone else's obligations instead of what we've been called to. So we get in our own way by trying to measure up to their measuring stick or their line of apartheid or whatever they have, and so that causes us to get in our own way and trip over our own feet, so to speak. And so you got to understand that when you get yourself out of the way, you understand who you are. Again, here we are with that. Well, you understand who you are and what you've been created to do, and all of the wisdom and knowledge in God that's poured into you, and everything that He's giving you as a person, mold and shaped after His image and His likeness. Well, you understand all of that's in you. Anything that comes in your way can only be used as a tool or a stepping stone to launch you where you got to go. I said something today when we were talking this morning, because today we know time went up 1 hour forward.
So
it sprung forward. And the idea is this, though. People have no problem in the fall when time falls back. We have no problem falling back.
That's right.
It's launching forward that challenges us. Because launching forward.
Because they got comfortable.
So we got a problem with launching forward. It takes a whole lot more energy, a whole lot more faith, a whole lot more wherewithal to launch forward than it does to just settle where you are and go backwards.
Be content.
See, going forward, you got to go in an area where you've never navigated before. You got to go into
discomfort.
discomfort. You got to go. You got to go in the valley of the unknown. and so that brings on a degree of fear. And again, we get back to that companionship and friendships and all of those. Well, if you don't have the right ones around you to encourage you during, this time of challenges, then you're going to find yourself staying where you are, staying down in the valley of do nothing.
Yeah.
And then you blame somebody else. You blame somebody else for your mishaps.
Yeah.
When it's your own fault for not really finding out who you are and what you have to offer. If you always got to have somebody else's approval before you feel like you have succeeded or made progress, then that person controls you.
That's real.
That's true. That's true.
You going where people don't want to talk about it. People don't like to talk about themselves.
Yeah, because who wants to be controlled by somebody? That's one of the biggest things right now in our community is that we don't want to be controlled.
Yeah.
We don't want to have rule over. We don't want to have a law to abide by. We want to be free. We want to do things against the law. We want to rebel. You know. So
and just to piggyback off of your pops, for years, I was my own biggest enemy. I would blame this person. Well, you this person, this that person, and it was me.
Yeah.
And when I took a step back and realized, okay, I need to be the one to correct this, and then everybody else or my situation will follow through with what I'm doing.
If they hadn't done that, if he hadn't done that, she hadn't done that, or you provoked me for that. If you hadn't, come on for me like that, then you can always make those excuses until you recenter yourself.
It's easy to
You
make
have
them
to
excuses.
recenter yourself. I was thinking about something today. You get up, you do your hygiene in the morning, and when you're born, some people do, some don't. Each his own. But one thing that after you get your permanent teeth, you brush them. You're taught to brush your teeth for a reason. Your teeth were created to last you for the longevity of your life, but you have to maintain them.
So you can still have teeth at 100.
If you maintain them. If you maintain them.
I thought they started falling out like baby teeth.
If you lose them before then, it's because you didn't do the right maintenance. It's not the teeth fault.
Yeah, it's your fault.
It's because you didn't properly maintain them. You look at that. You got to do whatever. You gotta go to a dentist. You gotta make sure you lay off stuff that's gonna cause them to deteriorate. And all these kind of things that go on. Sugars or whatever. And so it's the same way with purpose.
In real life,
your purpose came with you at birth. And you've got to maintain it through life.
That's right.
You can't expect somebody else to maintain your purpose because it's not their purpose.
It's not theirs.
I can't expect my dentist to make sure my teeth are brushed. I don't expect my dentist to come to my house and brush my teeth. Matter of fact, I don't expect my friends to brush my teeth. That's my own personal hygiene issue. So with my purpose, even though my friends may compliment it, or even though that whoever your companions may be may compliment it, you can't expect them to maintain it.
That's right.
You've got to maintain it. It's up to you to make sure you service your purpose properly. So that means if your purpose is not your life, then you're in the wrong craft.
They should center around your life.
You ain't talking about the blue box blues either.
That's real. That's real.
That nasty macaroni.
Yeah.
It's very nasty.
What
You got to feed it.
That really what I want to
Feeding
know
it right now.
That's all you've been doing the whole episode. Since we're talking about staying in your purpose and all that, for those, I know some guys that have had a purpose, but something just shot them down, stopped them in their tracks. And every time they try to get back in the groove of things, it just knocks them back down. What are some advice or some key points that you can put out there for them to get back out there and just stick to it,
Yeah. And again, we get back to maintaining that focus, and you got to understand that your purpose is greater than you. And the way to get back to it is to understand that your purpose will bring about what we talked about earlier, a greater end. So you're looking for a greater end. The book I read says your latter shall be greater than your former.
Okay.
So that means you got to stay the course. It can't be greater if you're going backwards. It's got to be worse.
That's right.
So when you're pressing forward, and the book talks about pressing towards the mark, when you got your aim, your aim on, then that means what you end up with is going to be greater for you than what you started off with.
That's right.
Because you've maintained the course doing that. Now, by maintaining the course, that doesn't mean I stay on track all the time.
Okay.
But what that means is, even if I'm off track, I know where my course is. I know where I'm focused, and I know what to do to get back in line. The Bible says this, that every time David got in trouble, he would call on the name of the Lord. He would call on God. He wouldn't call on his soldiers.
And that would put him back.
He wouldn't call on any of the prophets that was in the area. He wouldn't call on any of the wise guys that was there. He would call on the name of the Lord. And that resulted in David being called a man after God's own heart. It wasn't, listen, he wouldn't call a man after God's own heart just because he was a worshiper. He was called a man after God's own heart because he knew how to recenter himself in the purpose that God had created him for. And that was simply by calling on him. That wasn't by listening to what somebody else said. You know, that he's the king. So there's a whole lot of negativity going on with that.
I was calling
you know,
many times. Him again.
Yeah. But you know what? He loves saying him again.
Yeah.
We think he doesn't. Because that's the way we've been trained in humanity. We think that we're nagging and bothersome. Because there's been somebody in our circle, in our social environment that said that too. You're just wearing me. Just get on my nerves. It's you again. When are you ever going to get it right? See, we think God responds the same way. But he doesn't. He responds exactly the opposite. He says this, I thought you would never come to me. I thought you would never call on me again. You just called him 2 seconds ago. I thought you would never reach out to me again. Don't you know I'm here waiting for you to do that? Waiting for you to call on me, waiting for you to to consult me, waiting for you to ask me to help you. I got what you need. Why come you're gonna go to all these other sources if I got it right here?
And that's sometimes what we do. We go to go everywhere else than
where we need to go.
Where we need to go.
Have you ever went on a destination and the GPS telling you to go this route, but you like, I know a faster route, and you will go around a whole different route, and then bump into 50 minutes of traffic?
I have done that. I did that yesterday when I went to your house.
Joe did.
Or just like today when we came, GPS took me down the 70 bypass highway instead of me staying on 40. So it made us be 5 minutes late. I knew the right way, but I'm listening to GPS, and because I'm listening to it, sometimes you listen to what you think is right instead of doing what you know is right. When you know the way, sometimes you won't go that way.
When you know that you know that you know that you know. Right.
That's real. Tune it up.
Put this out right now.
We've been waiting on.
Yes,
sir.
Purpose. I don't know why we keep coming back to this, but it's for a reason. And it's for the listeners, because we got a lot of people that really love that. I got phone calls about that last episode.
But purpose is a nuclei of life.
They love it.
When you find purpose, you find your reason for being. That's the age-old question. Why am I here? Why was I created? What am I good for?
To worship.
When you find purpose, but worship is an experience you get after purpose. Because you can't be a true worshiper until you have identified purpose.
Come on here now.
Because worship is as a result of finding what purpose is. Worship is a communion with God so that you can further, listen to this, so you can further instill in you how to navigate the purpose that he gave you. Worship gives you the answers to the hard questions, and it gets you out of the tight places. And it puts you in a position that no matter what you've gotten into, you can't get you out, but he can. So worship comes into play in those difficult times. Worship is that resource that infills you. It is that resource that fuels you. It is that resource that strengthens you. See, when you actually get in with worship is the thing that bypasses flesh and gets straight to your spirit. Where you talk to God mono a mono. I don't have to now go through the middleman. I ain't got to worry about going and ask somebody else what God thinks about me. I don't have to worry about going to talk to somebody else about praying for me and talking to God for me. I don't have to worry about all of these other shenanigans that people talk about, hoop about, and get happy about. I ain't got to worry about that. I can bypass all of that. Go straight to the source.
That's what I have struggled with. Answering those hard questions. Like, it's been stuff that I just simply didn't want to deal with.
Right.
Just didn't want to do it. And I do everything I can to avoid actually having those conversations or just simply telling the truth about my own self.
Right.
So I just want to touch on that. I just want to say that, right?
But confession is good for the soul, and that makes us better people.
It takes a whole weight off your shoulders.
As long as you avoid that, you delay being fulfilled, and nobody else can handle that but you. And so as long as you put it back there, or put it in a way, then you can't get to what has been released for you to get up there or over it.
And some people don't realize that they putting it in the way. By thinking they putting it behind them, but they really putting it right there in front of them.
Right back. Yeah.
Right
The
there
greatest tool that the enemy uses is deception.
It sure is.
He used deception. He deceives people into thinking that they got time. He deceives people into thinking that they don't have to do it or they don't have what it takes. He deceives them into thinking they can handle it later. Delaying.
That's true.
That's deception.
Procrastination.
And all that deception is doing is delaying them fulfilling purpose, because purpose comes in stages. Fulfilling it comes in stages.
What are the stages for the people?
The first stage is just identifying it. Know that you have purpose. And then the second stage is after identifying and know what it is, then I got to learn about that. I can't just go and start embarking upon it if I don't know what it is. So once I identify that I do have purpose, that's the first thing. And then the next thing is I have to learn about that purpose that I do have, because my purpose is not like everybody else's purpose, but there is somebody who had a purpose that's congruent to mine. So I'll have to learn from them, or learn from what they left, their memoirs, their experiences, their successes or their lesser successes. Because when you think about purpose, it's either a greater success or a lesser success. There are no failures.
There you go.
It's a greater success or a lesser success. And the lesser success is going to help you get to the greater success. It says, do a man stumble 7 times, the Lord will pick him up. So if you stumble, he'll pick you up.
So really, I didn't fail that grade. I was just less successful.
You failed that. No, you didn't.
You had a lesser success.
You didn't fail the grade. You didn't fail the grade.
You failed the work.
You didn't apply yourself.
That
You didn't apply yourself.
That was just a joke.
You didn't fail the grade. You failed yourself.
That's real.
I passed.
That's real.
But no, let's be real about that. How long did you have to live with that stigma of being inadequate and not being successful and not being like the rest of your peers who went on? And how long did that stay with you in your life?
I had to get it together.
Well, have you really gotten rid of it now?
Yeah.
Are you still trying to play catch up? Are you still trying to meet somebody else's standards?
Yeah. That's real.
That's real. So you got to be cleansed from that. You got to be delivered from that. When I find purpose, see, my purpose tells me, listen, I don't have to worry about all of these gauges that others are doing, because sometimes my stuff may be off the map.
Yeah.
Indeed. What he called me to do may be something that they can't gauge because there's been no gauge created to govern it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you really think about it, what you do, that the real successful people are people that think outside the box. They're navigators that go outside the parameters of just one dimension. They operate in several different dimensions. They're multi-dimensional, not just multi-talented. They're multi-dimensional. That means they can function in several different spectrums of several different levels or several different entities at the same time. That means I can deal with this one, I can deal with that one, I can talk to this one, I can talk to that one, and sometimes I can talk to them all at the same moment. They don't even understand how I'm doing it.
Wow. Well, I ain't got that level yet. Now, speaking of spectrum, thank y'all for cutting that internet back on. We so appreciate y'all. We needed it for the day.
Thank you, Spectrum.
I just got to throw my jokes in there.
We appreciate that.
We do appreciate
this backyard inspiration, it's a
Hey.
derivative of backyard comedy, so we got to keep it real. And life without laughter is not real life, it's not real living.
That's real.
The Bible says
have
this.
both of them.
It says this. It says laughter does the body like medicine. It's able to heal whatever is ailing you, whatever's going on with you. So laughter has healing properties in it. And a lot of people do not embark upon those properties that laughter bring, because they're too busy. Listen to this. They're too busy being downtrodden. They're too busy being sad. They're too busy being so serious they don't have time to live.
Yep.
Some people can be too busy trying to be successful. So your purpose shouldn't take you out of living. It should cause you to live.
I'm glad.
If you're not enjoying fulfilling purpose, I think you may have the wrong purpose. Because I'm happy doing what I do.
Me too.
And everything, and all the byproducts that come come along with it. Now, I'm not pleased with every outcome, but I'm pleased at doing what I know I've been assigned to do. Hey, I can do it without thinking about it.
I want to say these two things right here. Just piggyback off Pops again. For those of y'all out there, because I talk like this too, because we're from the country. When somebody say what's what's wrong with you? We asking what's wrong with you. And my grandma always told me, Lord rest her soul, my grandma always told us, if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry. So that's why I try to laugh as much as possible. Even through, like, even when I see somebody else cry, like, I don't know if it's a defense mechanism or not. The honest has seen it. I start laughing myself, but it might just be just a mechanism to keep me from crying. I don't know, but that's just what I have in me. I have that spirit of laughter, trying to make somebody laugh and bring them up. That's what I try my best to do. Laugh at a funeral, all the time.
It happens, man.
Ecclesiastes 3 says a time and a place for all of it, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's a time to laugh and it's a time to cry.
Yeah.
So all this is telling us that balance is important.
That's right.
In order to really enjoy walking in our purpose and being who we created to be, then I've got to have balance.
That's right. I'm sorry, Pastor.
No. Let that man eat.
Leave him alone. Let him go to the toilet if he want to go.
I'm
sitting beside him. I'm sitting beside him. Y'all don't know.
We'll find out in a minute.
Got that right?
Sure will.
Lord be with us.
We'll walk it down.
Anything you got to add to that, dude?
One thing,
I keep cutting you off over there.
it's all right, brother. Just eat your cheese. Don't cut
Turkey
me
right
the other
here.
way.
Good turkey.
One thing that I wanted to say, man, I really do commend you because when I was younger, there was not too many pastors around in the area that I would even listen to, and I can say you were one of the few ones that got me, in the right lane and right path to my purpose at that time. Purpose did change, here and there.
That's my question, Dad. So with him saying that, though, so does your purpose ever change? And if it does, what do you do if it does?
I don't think your purpose actually changed. I think you can modify it.
Yeah.
Your purpose has to be modified as you matriculate and go through life. Because you don't have to do this. Here we go.
Clear dictionary.
Because you can't do the same things, as you navigate life and maturate. You don't do the same things. You can't do the same things. The abilities are not the same. The thinking is not the same because you're not the same.
That's
your
right.
body. Listen, the moment we're born, we're sentenced to death.
That's real.
People don't think about that.
Yeah.
But the moment that we are birthed into reality, we're sentenced to die. That's every man's plight. Nobody. I don't care what you got, what you do, what you accomplish. You cannot avoid that. You got an appointment with that, and there's nothing you can do to cancel that appointment.
That's right.
You don't know the
You
time
can
or the
freeze
place.
yourself up and do all of that and think that later on they're going to bring you back. It's not happening. You're wasting money. But anyway,
Zombies.
Yeah. So purpose. I think it doesn't change, but a lot of times we're able to really dial in and really clarify what purpose is. Sometimes, and then, like you say, you may have one purpose when you're younger, and when you're old, it may not be that. Like my purpose now is, and for a few years, it has been speaking to people and encouraging people. But I know as I get older, that's going to cease to exist because I'm going to purposely stop it.
but the thing about it is you're planting seeds into us right now.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
You still gonna live on because you planting seeds in us, and we can give the words out to the younger generation.
So if I'm going to live on through you all, why would I keep trying to live on through me?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh.
Why would I keep trying to prove me if I've already proven me?
That makes sense.
So why don't I go just enjoy the rest of me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
And don't put that, because it's pressure. That's pressure that comes with that. The thing I was talking about, not many teachers see when people demand of you, and all of us have demands that are placed on our lives. So that takes something out of you. And so at some point you need to be able to get from under that calling, that demand, from at least from that aspect of it, or from that property of it that's calling so much on us, where it's not so strenuous on you sometimes.
Right.
Because to do what leaders do, and to be a leader, man, it can be a lonely life.
Yeah,
because you think about it. A lot of times, a lot of leaders, they can't trust people around them because they don't know who Judas is. They don't know who the backstabber is. You don't know.
What you say?
Yeah.
Smiling in your face.
You got that right. They know what I'm saying?
They
all the
definitely
time.
do. They definitely do.
And that's the real tip. And so you gotta really understand that. So the thing is, you can't focus on that. You can't focus on the negativity. You got to focus on, again, the greater good. You got to focus on what's more important. Is it more important for you to try to hinder them from doing what they're doing, or do you say like this? Go ahead on and do what you got to do.
Yep.
And whatever you do it quickly.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do it, because the only thing it can do is cause me to become better.
Better. Yep.
Because if I allow it to destroy me, then it has succeeded. But since I'm not going to allow it, the only thing it can do is make me better. I'm not going to allow it to make me bitter. So it can't do anything but make me better.
Some people allow that, though. They allow that.
stone.
Sometimes to make them bitter more so than better.
But the key word is allow.
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 Yeah.
You can't allow it. And whenever you walk in purpose, and this is not being conceited or this is not being arrogant, or any of those kind of things. This is an individual that has confidence in who they are and what they've been called to do. Now, you're going to hurt some feelings.
And that's all right.
Feelings.
And that's all right.
Yeah.
All
Sometimes
that's going to happen.
Yeah.
I done had my feelings.
Yeah,
my feelings hurt.
Your feelings will be hurt.
Yeah.
But it's a part of the process, and you gotta ask for the wisdom. That's another thing that James says: if any man lack wisdom, let him ask God. So you gotta ask for the wisdom on how. Listen to this: how to apply that to your purpose. Because just because it happens now doesn't mean I need to apply the principles now. It may happen to me now, and I have to apply the principles later.
And I think that's where I'm speaking for myself. I think that's where I lapped that, is when I felt like I had to apply it right then and there.
Right.
Instead of letting it manifest and then, applying it.
But you got to get mature enough to apply it. We receive information. We receive knowledge. Okay? When we receive information and knowledge, all of those are tools. But where to utilize the tool and information can only be applied through wisdom, so we can get the maximum result.
Come on here now.
So in order to do that, then I've got to wait for wisdom to be released. And
Not
wisdom
dumb,
doesn't
wisdom.
Yeah, and wisdom doesn't necessarily have to have a time frame on it. Wisdom can come instantly, or wisdom may be delayed decades.
Yeah, I think that what we do as humans, we put the time stamp on when something's supposed to happen. We try to control it when certain things we just simply can't control.
That's right.
Absolutely.
If you notice this, I don't know if you all have recognized this, but the food and stuff has time stamps on it, right? But you know what they keep right on doing?
Changing them.
They keep right on putting the stamp and taking it and pushing it back further.
Yeah.
Anything that you see, they say that time stamp says it's supposed to expire now. But if you go ask those that are part of the Food and Drug Administration, they say, well, they just put that up there as a precaution. It's really not bad now if you preserved it right.
Yeah.
You still can use it.
Put it in the freezer, like Grandma did.
Freezer.
It's just best
Grandma
used
did.
by a date.
If it's no,
We just talked about that the other day.
Yeah.
it's just a use by day, and so it's not right. So it's the same way with our purpose. Some people will tell you that your purpose has already been fulfilled, or it's the use by day has expired. You can't get there now. But we were talking about this today in the sermon. Listen, Abraham was 90 years old when God told him he was going to have a child, and then the child didn't come to 10 years later when he was 100. And I mean, come on, and here we are. And then it says this about Caleb when they had came over and got into the promised land. It says Caleb was 80 years old, and he still had the strength of a young man to go and conquer the land that God had promised him.
Yeah, them boys are old in the Bible.
Yeah.
So the thing is this: you can't let anybody tell you that you are not in a position to still fulfill what you've been created to do.
Yeah.
Just because you've reached a certain number, you've had a certain amount of experiences.
Yeah.
None of that. It is a qualifier. The qualifier is you. When you give up on you, then you have nothing left to offer. So don't let anybody else, create your expiration date.
Speaking of time, have y'all ever seen the movie with Justin Timberlake? It's called In Time. When you get the time on your arm, when you run out, you die.
Yeah.
That's really how it is, though.
Oh yeah,
really
but all he
is.
had to do was find somebody that had a lot of time,
Yep.
and he could drain some of their time,
Yep.
and then he could extend it.
Yeah.
So as you fulfill
Gain into
purpose,
wisdom.
what about purpose? Extending your time. Every time you fulfill one phase of your purpose, you say, what are the phases? First is identifying it, and the second thing is after you identify it and you know what it is, then you have to learn about it. Then after you learn about it, you have to start application. But application doesn't start all at once. Application application comes in increments, because I only can apply one part now, then apply another part later. And so as I continue to grow and get into this thing, then the application becomes who I am. And so the real ultimate stage of purpose is when purpose and I are the same. Nobody can tell me from it and it from me.
Yeah.
And that's real.
That's heavy talking now. Heavy talking now. That's heavy talking now.
This has been good, fellas. This has been good.
Anybody got anything else to say?
Up.
Yeah, about time to wrap it around there now. Anybody got anything else they want to add to that?
Nah, man. I'm good.
Any question, I'm here. Ask me now.
Yeah, please email us. Please email us.
Please reach out.
I can forward to you, pops, whatever the case may be. Email us if you feel like you just want an inspirational word. Matter of fact, tell the people how they can get in contact with your pop in case they just need prayer, words of encouragement, or anything. How can they get in contact with you?
They can get in contact with me through my email. I got kingkid@aol.com. You can email me there. Just simple, KID at AOL.com. You can email me there, and I will answer. But you know what I would love for you to do? I would love for you to write those questions down, send it here to the Backyard Comedy, or now the fall off from it, or derivative of it, Backyard Inspiration. So the next time we come, I'll answer those questions right here for you. And we'll do that, and we'll keep doing that as long as you send it in.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, this is to help you. This is to make you better. And listen, I tell people this all the time. When I went out and got my real estate license, it don't cost you nothing to ask me questions. It don't cost you nothing.
The only dumb question is if you don't ask it.
Yeah, but it's going to save you if you ask, because I've now got the information that you need to help you.
Yeah.
So if you want it to help you, then you got to come and pursue it.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to pursue you.
Right.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I know we doing it for our fans and everybody that's looking, but it be helping me myself.
Yeah.
I be taking it with me to apply it on my everyday life, dealing with them demons at my job. I take it with me everywhere I go. I really do.
It costs you not to ask, then it costs you more not to ask.
It really does, and I had to learn that closed mouths don't get fed. You got to say something. You got to say something. Well, as always, I got my boy, Skeezy Baby. Please say the baby.
You already know.
And that really duty I got right here beside me.
I'm right here beside you, bro.
Ho. Before we go, we are wearing our pit.
Oh, yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, we wearing our shirts today.
Oh, yeah.
From the pit to the palace. Yeah. So you guys can pick these up. I showed them the back last time. But we all got them on. Make sure y'all reach out to us if y'all want a shirt, man.
How much are they, sir?
Oh, just a little simple amount. $25. You can get one of these.
Ding.
There you go.
An inspirational shirt from the pit to the palace.
That's
and
right.
It's got that on the front and on the back. Hey, it's got you going from where you used to be to where you were destined to be.
Come on here now.
To your throne.
That's marketing.
There you go.
And I'm your boy, Vocals26. You can email us at backyardcomedy3@gmail.com. Just want to leave y'all with something. You ready?
Yeah.
Time is a precious thing, so don't waste it by not watching Backyard Comedy. We appreciate y'all, and we love y'all.
Ready.
Do.